Hey everyone, I'm Adam here from BoLS Souls with
Drake from Dragons Are Comics and Fantasy.
Today we're looking at The Good Society. Drake, what is Good Society?
So, Good Society is a product of Kickstarter.
Yeah?
It is a crowd-funded RPG based on the worlds of Jane Austen.
Okay!
So basically, it's the Pride and Prejudice RPG.
I am very, but we can't say that, can we, due to copyright? I don't know, it's probably out of
It's a
copyright.
Jane Austen it's public domain.
It's public domain now,
Right?
I don't know. Well, whatever, it's here.
Yeah. In any case, it's here
is
talking about this product.
This is the Jane Austen RPG.
Yes, absolutely.
Unofficially, not the Pride and Prejudice RPG. Anyway, what, so...
I mean, it is what you make of it. At the same time.
It is an RPG, yes, that's very true.
So... Obviously, this is no high fantasy sword and sorcery kind of delve. And I was kind of surprised at the context here. Like,
yeah.
It's a very kind of courtly, intrigue, social,
this is a
emotional
social RPG type. Like,
yeah.
There could be some duels, I'm sure, in that period.
Yes.
There could be some honor duels, perhaps.
I don't think that combat is going to be even a chapter.
It should be.
In the just for the sake of it.
Just for dueling purposes only.
Right.
Also for fighting zombies, and Pride and Prejudice and zombies is a thing. So
you could do that.
I sprinkle some
maybe
zombies.
You could do that.
I'm just saying. I'm very curious about this. I'm trying to think back to my English lit days. I think that period is like the 1750s, 60s to like the 1850s, 60s, like a 100-year period.
Turn of the 19th century.
Yeah, that kind of. I think it's called the Georgian King George III period. Like,
oh, not as in Georgia.
Not in Georgia, but like that kind of.
Maybe
it could be set in Georgia. Hey, why not? It's your RPG at that point, right? It'd be like
whatever the
early 1800s, I guess, but
whatever the estate master says.
Yeah. Ooh, good point. Would be the instead of the game master, the estate. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out.
It'll say so in the book.
Yeah, I'm curious about this. Again, it's a very particular period setting. But if you've ever actually read those books, they are dense with some politicking. There's some class society kind of warfare going on. Also, a lot of subterfuge. So I'm willing to give this a new shot. Is what I'm saying. Like, it sounds
there are interactions to be had, and I definitely want it. I definitely want to see how crunchy it is versus. I feel like this is gonna lean a little bit more on a narrative drive.
See. Yeah, it's a pretty dense looking book. So let's be chatting about it. Let's dive on in. Drake, it is Good Society, a Jane Austen RPG. First off, I want to say the book looks fantastic. The quality of this product, I mean, looks really cool.
Yeah, it's very pretty.
Yeah, it's got a little bookmark in there. You could put this on your bookshelf and fool people. Make them think you're classy or something. Just gonna keep going here. We're not gonna go through all of this page by page, but we do want to showcase some of the highlights. So talk about kind of what this game is, and go from there. First off, I really like the table of contents layout here. This reminds me of Tales from the Loop, actually. The way the art is laid out, not necessarily style, but the
format.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, so what all do you know about this one, man? Like,
well, so it's definite. I believe there's no dice involved. There's no rolling. There's no random. There's no skills or bonuses or anything like that.
Okay.
It seems like there is next to no actual crunch as far as structure.
Okay.
As far as gameplay, beyond the sequence of turns.
Collaborative storytelling.
Yeah.
More so than rolling dice to generate the results.
As far as shaping the narrative, it is completely open based, but it occurs in a structured structured rounds where things occur in a sequence of orders, then people react to what has happened. I think there's even a whole phase dedicating to writing letters to one another.
Wow, okay. We kind of, I was looking at that in the contents there. It's just,
Yeah, so cycles of play as far as like how things progress, where there's people like refer to each other, and then there's gossiping, writing, the result, like those previous phases resolve.
Again, if you've read any Jane Austen era novels, or Jane Austen novels in particular, there's a lot of this reputation where there's people gossiping about you and you're gossiping, or the characters are gossiping about each other. There's also the inner monologue type of thing, like, good heavens, what shall I do? You know, like that type
where you have your soliloquy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's just a lot of social ladder climbing in this game, and a lot of that type of gameplay.
Right, and that essentially shapes the characters themselves. Where when you're creating a character for this world, I thought it was funny. There's like a pseudo class system where it's like character roles. Yeah. Oh yeah, character roles where it's like basically a template of
let's skip
your
to
general motivations.
This is a pretty dense book, as you can see. And it's got some pretty cool art, a very distinct style throughout the whole book. There's different roles, if you want to hold that side down. We've got the heir, the socialite, the dowager, the dependent, the new arrival, the meddler, the cornerstone, the hedonist, the tutor, and the carefreest. Careerist. So it's carefreest. Sorry, careerist. Yeah, okay, so those are just, in a quick description, I'll just read one of them. The heir, obviously, destined for a substantial inheritance, but has seen none of it yet. Versus somebody like, let's say, the hedonist, enjoys the finer things of life in the largest quantity possible. You can kind of see the archetype of these characters that you're going to be playing as.
Yeah, and that kind of gives you an idea as to their intentions or their aspirations or what you're trying to achieve as the character, or at least what's motivating you.
Yeah, this is going to combine with your character background, and you're going to work with the facilitator, or the game master that we were joking about. That's what they're called, the facilitator. You're going to work with them to kind of craft your backstory and your character archetype, and then you're going to be interacting with folks.
Yeah. And especially how you connect to the other characters. Like, we are cousins, we went to school together, etc., etc.
But yeah, this is just a conflict resolution in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of social gameplay, a lot of social structure at work here. Drake, can you talk a little bit about how the resolutions work and that type of a thing?
Right. So, well, at least as far as shaping the world.
Yeah, this is the creating connections to each other.
Yeah, and then the other like major kind of like mechanical aspect of the game, beyond the structure of the phases, is that most all of the characters, when you sit down, the players will all have essentially 2 resolve tokens, which can be turned in order. Essentially, what is a DM intrusion? Where
DM intrusion, where they kind of take over.
They seize the narrative reins for just a moment to kind of guide the narrative one way or another, and that can be refused or accepted by any other players that might be affected by that. And as a way for the players to kind of shape and steer things in a certain way without necessarily giving away or asking specifically for the facilitator to create a certain series of events or anything like that.
Okay, and this is where the resolve tokens come in. You can kind of negotiate with each other. It's going to impact your reputations, and then there's also the inner conflicts and monologues and things like that happen as well. So you are forming a narrative as you're playing the game with these characters. You're playing as these characters, but then you're also manipulating the overall story using the resolution tokens and stuff like that.
As well as each other and the other NPCs and stuff like that.
It's kind of interesting. There's also, I think we flipped through a couple of things about generating rumors or spreading gossip about each other as well. Again, this is very much a Jane Austen novel. If you could make a game out of it, and this is it. So
they did.
Yeah. I'm a little. Maybe this is just the type of gamer I am, but I'm kind of like, there's no duel mechanic. I can't like slap another character and be like, I challenge you to a duel, you know. But maybe that's just me. In my mind, that's something they did back then. I don't know if that's true or not. But,
how often that takes place.
A duel to first blood, sir. And a sword fight, or Pistols at dawn. I don't know.
Right. And it seems like that sort of thing would occur, but it would just it would resolve. It would just kind of happen.
Yeah.
But either between you and another character, based
Maybe an
on
NPC. Yeah.
Yeah, based on how you use maybe those resolve tokens. Like if you had more than the other, you could gain an advantage, or
There's a bug. Sorry. Love versus status. There's inner conflicts that you can progress. Let's show off that character sheet. Where was that? There we go. This is the not character sheet. Sorry, the public information sheet. Again, this game is a very collaborative, narrative role-playing game, right? So, yeah, this goes over collaboration details. These kind of record your decisions, the kind of the tone or the history that you're doing. Major character information will be here. Typical stuff: your name, kind of your relationships with people, how like the example I showed was love versus duty or something.
Right.
Like that. Family versus
what
culture,
their conflict is, and whether or not they lead one way or another, keeping those balanced, and other like keywords that might associate with as far as their reputation. Like, they're known for being a loudmouth. They're known for being reclusive. They're known for being secretive. That's how handsome he is. Stuff like that would all be here for everybody to see.
Yeah.
So that you can see what the kind of information that you would be aware of somebody without necessarily seeing into their head or looking at their personal sheet.
Right.
Which tracks, I think, that conflict more in detail, as well as the sources behind those reputations, where those came from, more detail about them specifically. Yeah. But then this is things that everybody knows about everybody else.
And of course, there's the rumors and scandals because Jane Austen.
And that is the largest single space.
Yeah, but this goes into just game prep and stuff like that. Again, there are no monsters in here. There's no DMG. There's no monster manual here. Bestiary. It is, But there's different play sets that you can use as well to kind of help kick everything off. But this is a very interesting game that they've, again, taken inspiration from Jane Austen and gone from there. So I don't know. There's a lot to go over here. It's a beautiful book. Lots to cover. It's fairly dense. There's a lot of cool artwork in here though too. Pretty well produced. But man, good society. This one's gonna take some, just like an actual Jane Austen novel. It's gonna take some time to digest this one.
You need some Spark Notes.
You need some Spark Notes. Let me get the Cliff Notes so I can pass that test. Anyway, let's go ahead and hop out for a really quick recap. Well, that was Good Society, a Jane Austen RPG. My mind's kind of blown right now. I don't quite know what to think about this one. It's very intriguing.
That's the point.
I think so.
Like,
this is not a traditional RPG with. There's no dice. There's no
crunch.
There's no
purely
fighting.
social narrative.
Yeah. There's no like. There's story, but there's no like epic legend quest, that you think of. Like, there's no dragons, obviously.
Just a bunch of rich people talking to each other.
Yeah, it's a high society type of game. I think it's a little too classy for me. I don't know. I could probably pull it off or fake it till I make it, but
I would. I like that it encourages you to kind of ham it up. Like that's very much like the examples that we saw.
Good sir.
They're like, a scandal, and like, kind of embracing the caricature. That the novels were, and
I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Portrayed as.
I do think this game with the right players could be a lot of fun. I think it's all in the mentality that you go into with this, and I really do think if you want to enjoy this game, you really have to buy into it and just go for it, because otherwise it's going to be really weird if you don't get the mentality of it. But again, this game is set up to help you do that.
Strap on your dice shoe, your role playing shoes, and leave your dice bag out.
Leave your role playing with the dice out. Role playing. Yeah.
And think more about the role playing.
ROLE. Anyway, let's come some numbers on this one real fast. Yeah. This is obviously an RPG. RPGs can range from 2 players to however many your facilitator can handle.
Yes. Probably 2 to 5, maybe a group of 5, 2 to 6. I believe that it said that it encourages a group of no more, not much more than 4 or
Yeah,
5.
yeah.
But not much fewer than that though. Like
You want a good size group.
of 4 characters is probably the sweet spot.
Yeah, I could see that. Aside from that, playtime's going to vary per group and in session, whatever you're running.
2 to 3 hours.
What's
Probably
the
not
price point on
session
this
long.
one?
So this is the core rulebook. Yeah, obviously there's no monster manual or anything like that.
That's all you need, really.
Fairly like real world restricted, so there's no DMG. This is the only book that I believe they're planning on making, or that at least that it seems like is the need for.
Yeah.
So the single core rulebook is $49.99.
Yeah.
Pretty typical.
I'm
as
hoping
far
for a
as, like,
zombie
an
expansion,
RPG, but
personally, but that's just me.
which at
That's
the
how
same
I got
time-
into Jane Austen, right? That's how everybody does, right?
At the same time, yeah, the lack of crunch is liberating. Like,
It
you
is.
can
It is.
do whatever you want with it.
Yeah, and the way they do the kind of I think you called it like the GM intrusions for the characters. It's a neat. There's neat mechanics in here at play.
Yeah, so there is structure.
Yeah, there's definitely a structure to the overall narrative, which I do appreciate. So, and again, this book is really beautiful. Good hardback. I like
it looks
the
something
format.
that you would put on your bookshelf.
Yeah, you could slide this next to your Jane Austen collection and confuse people and intrigue them, and then they will play with you. Oh. Anyway, that is Good Society Jane Austen RPG. Go check out this brand new in stores, right?
Yeah, Kickstarter's launched. It's not available through distribution, so it's going to be a relatively restricted group.
Gotcha.
Or availability as far as whether or not where you'll be able to get it if you haven't already backed and funded for the Kickstarter yourself.
And if your local gaming store backed it, they got their copies or should be getting them relatively soon.
Yep.
So go ask them, go bug them. Go check it out. I'm Adam here from BoLS.
And I'm Drake with Dragons Are Comics and Fantasy.
And this has been another Tabletop Spotlight. Thanks again for watching. Tabletop Spotlight, brought to you by Dragon's Lair Comics and Fantasy. Click to subscribe. Check out more videos. And thanks for watching.